Hey traders, hello, welcome to the Thursday Crypto Lab with Alex. I hope you are all well and sound. Just confirm me if the sound is better. I have read in the comments of the last show that some of the viewers had a problem with the sound, so I hope it's better now. So just write me in the chat box if you can, if the sound, if we hear each other clearly. That will be useful. Okay, so apparently there is no issue with sound, so we can start. Okay, guys, loud and clear. Okay, thanks. Okay, so let's do our usual routine. So in this edition, we'll look some of the few new interesting charts. We will also look some of the metrics regarding Bitcoin, some of the news, and we will also look the charts. I have added to the mix some of the macro overview because we had requests on our Wednesday YouTube show, which is most of the part concerns with stocks. Some of the viewers requested some of the macro outlook that we include. So we will do a little bit of macro look at US dollar and some of the other stuff there. So let's start. Um, yeah, so we will tracking last week a triangle on a Bitcoin. So as you know, let's go start on a higher time frame. So as we do every time, so as usual, we're gonna look a higher time frame on a Bitcoin and try to determine where we are in this trend. And let's look at the usual chart on weekly, which we presented the last couple of sessions. And this one is a post representing a post triangle trust, which means that we are still underway for this in this case blue wave 3, because this one represented by a triangle, and we have a little bit more of a sequences up and down to reach this potential target in the orange wave 3, which is actually anchored from the beginning of 2010, where we labeled this as a 1-2, and we are currently monitoring a possible orange wave 3 within its own subdivisions, which means it has to have a nice lesser degree 5-wave move on the upside. We identify this as a possible triangle, so this one is of the version of the wave count with the possible triangle, which means that the E wave was very short. Anyhow, in the Elliott wave world, this is completely fine. And we are tracking a possibility that the post triangle count is started on the upside in this orange wave 1, maybe a little bit more upside to finish this wave 1. We're going to see a deeper correction, which means we will go back to, let's say, 24,000, and then we're going to continue on the upside in this projected path. Of course, we're going to follow and monitor some of the key support levels, which shouldn't be broken if the uptrend of course needs to maintain its course. So also you noted probably that RSI is slowly moving to the downside. I'm said already that this is just a kind of a one of the signposts we look. It's not that important, but when you see some type of divergences on a smaller time frames, daily, maybe 4 hours between wave 3 and 5, maybe you can consider that information a little bit valid on the strength of a current trend on the upside. So drilling down the smaller time frame, this will be a correction in the possible triangle or ABC down in a wave 4. We move up for one more push, and then we go in this wave 2 in some type of an ABC pullback. Usually wave 2 in this type of a degree should go a little bit deeper, so we should go back down to this support or even lower. But even now, if you see the situation, I also draw here a possible another correction, which is a zigzag. If we start to penetrate these support levels around 28,500, we might continue a little bit more to the downside to respect this previous lesser degree wave 4, which is a usually stopping place of the corrections. And also we will see some type of a clear 5 waves down, 3 waves pullback, and then another 5 waves down, which has a Fibonacci support around exactly 28,000, between 28,493 to 28,900 or 856. Okay, so this will be also one type of a correction. We also suggested a possible triangle, which is still is an option, which I will show you now. So on this other wave count, which is quite similar but proposes a little bit more bullish outlook than a post triangle trust, but basically both of them are bullish. They just differ in the degree of a corrections and in the degree of the current wave 3 subdivisions. So in this one, we have this wave 4 finished a little bit earlier in a more complex WXY or A triangle B and C. It really doesn't matter in this instance, is this a complex or a simple. And from there we had seen a 5-wave move on the upside, a sharp move down in a wave 2, and then we are now monitoring a possibility of the smaller wave 3 on the upside. Then again we're going to do a 4 or 5, and then a higher degree for 3 4 3 4, sorry, my mistake. And then we're going to continue on the upside. So both of these wave counts are bullish, but they differs in a sense that we have to monitor, especially if we do this move on the upside, how this pullback will unfold. And if we see this pullback go back again to this previous place and continue on the upside, then we will have a definite confirmation that possibility will kind of grow, that we're gonna see a further continuation on the upside without a bigger pullback. So this 28 level should be a crucial one for all of these pullbacks, even this one on a higher degree. So if you can see a subdivisions, this wave on the upside, we consider to be a third wave of the third wave, and definitely it qualifies for it because we have a kind of a vertical angle uprise, which is one of the characteristics of the this type of expansion on the upside. So some Fib ratios that we usually monitor is we do some projections, and we try to match and find a nice Fib cluster zone on the upside, which is comprised of a higher degree and lesser degree Fib ratios. And for this wave 3, some of the Fib ratios are around 75,000, 65, 75, even to 85,000. We're gonna see possibly sometimes this wave 3 extends, but possibly we will see a pullback in wave 4 and then a continuation. So for now, the bull trend obviously is intact. We are still monitoring these two options that we presenting, I think, from the last 3 times, because the a possible bearish flat we cancelled because usual extension was override. So market told us, okay, I'm not gonna go down, I'm just continuing on the upside. And then we cancel this option and continue to monitor these possible subdivisions and fractal nature, or the way how this fractal nature will subdivide on the upside. So let's go on a smaller time frame and kind of see how this triangle is unfolding for now. For now it's working very well. We presented only 2 legs last week, and now we saw that market actually respected this consolidation. It's still within the range of a triangle. Okay, so there is a wave down in A, up in B, and we have a little bit more complex, which is a usually 1 leg in a triangle, uh, one leg can be very sharp and the other leg can be very complex, lasting for a long time. And this one is potentially that one. So this will be a WXY. It means that it has three waves down, three waves up, and then another three waves down. And if I decompose that, we can also see a clarity between these subdivisions, and there is basically no problems with that for now. What is important in triangles is that usually we look at this 0.618 ratio between the relation of the legs into triangles, in the triangles, and uh, we have 5 of them, which all subdivides in 3 waves. And then if we see a move up in D wave and a small pullback, we will have a kind of a probability which makes us kind of looking for a potential entry with a small stops, because we know where is the invalidation levels. And here we come with Elliott wave as a very, very nice risk reward tool, because if we see these legs continue as we planned, we are going to put an entry and try to catch this wave E or a little bit upside on a confirmation, and then clearly the wave count invalidation will stay here, so we will risk this much to gain some of its projections on the upside, which are above 40,000. Okay, so the risk reward will clearly be very nice. We will be risking this much in potential to gain that much. So let's discuss the possibility that we are in the triangle. So this will continue to develop like this. First, I would like to point out, if I unglare a little bit this picture, I would like to point out that wave count invalidation on the triangles are usually very visible if you place your hypothesis as we did here. So a move below this wave A will nullify the current structure, or either tell us this is a bigger wave A or we are just in an ABC. I know it looks a little bit complicated, but actually it's not. For now we are almost I would not say certain, because certainty doesn't exist in the trading world, but high probability is that this is some type of a consolidation which will continue on the upside for now. So if we pass this wave A, we will switch just to a potential scenario in the ABC. So what I will do from the trading perspective, I can play around a little bit and try even to put a small trade here, but I would like to see this D and E develop further, and then I will be even more certain in a probabilities term that this is actually a triangle, and kind of have a more edge to put an entry on the possible trade on the upside. I mean, I'm just explaining you what I'm going to do on trading this one. Of course, you all have, this is not an advice, you all have your own opinions and market view. I'm just explaining how I am functioning in this type of a situation, which might for you be in some way useful. So in general, I will just show you how we measure a possible target. So we can also do a fib ratio usually after triangles, and triangles are the last waves in that degree of a trend. So you also, it's very important to remember that, because triangles warn you that the final balance of buyers and sellers are starting to be very visible. Okay, so as you can see here, there is a correction here. Okay, so the bears was thinking, okay, we are going down, but the bulls take it over and run it on the upside, and now we see a really an expansion of a moving up and down, which means that the other force in this exchange, which is a bearish one, starts to grow, and this is a warning that we might continue to the upside. So there is 2 targets. If this is a triangle, how we measure them. So this is the fib ratios we usually do. It can be 38.2 or it can be 61.8. So we measure and try to look subdivisions and then add even smaller fib ratios to kind of make a fib cluster. Also, we can note that we have some type of of a channel here. Usually when you put a channel in the Elliott wave, it has to go from beginning of the wave 1 and ending of the wave 2. So we're gonna hit probably this channel on the upside, which is one more useful information that we have. The third information that we have is a little bit of an old technical analysis tool. So you will see some of the older technical analysts do this. They will project this highest leg in a triangle and then put it up on a possible breakout when it happened, which also gives you some of the visibility how this triangle on the upside, what is the potential targets on the upside. So we are kind of focusing around the first target. If it goes to the second one, great. If it's not, this is already enough. As you can see, it focuses around this 38.2%. This is 1 plus 3, so this ratio measures first wave plus the third wave to get the target for the fifth wave. We have a trend line. We also have a projection of this depth of a triangle on the upside, which kind of focuses on this 47.52 area for a possible target. In the case we are in the ABC, so if we continue and break this line and triangle, we will look for a clear also projection of the 5 versus 3, and then in that case, because it will go a little bit lower, it will give us 47.50,000 target, and if you subdivide this and put an impulse, kind of just a projection, it should look something like this on the upside. Okay, so we're gonna continue to track this one, and started to see kind of looking to see a possible confirmation. So yeah, on this front, we will look for a 5 waves up, smaller degree. Okay, here. So if we go and glare the picture, you will see that we might see a smaller 5 wave division here. We will look that for a possible confirmation, a small pullback in a wave 2, and then your risk is very small. I'm going to exercise possibly an entries here with the stops there in anticipation of the possible move on the upside. So I'm still kind of looking. This is still a hypothesis which is working fine for now. So now the rest of the job is to see it further how it develops, and when I see clear signposts of a developments, I will then construct a possible trade for me on the upside for now. Okay, so let me look some other things. Tom, we paused for the yesterday for the Elliott wave Wednesday, but it's there. It's gonna come back next week for sure, so everything is fine. Okay, so let's move on. Let's look some other stuff that we usually look. I also continue to observe this stellar. As you know, we were looking also for a possible triangle, or I have another option here as an ABC. And on the higher time frame, we have a possible development of the 1-2-1-2. So there is a wave 1 down in 2, and then we are expecting developments in a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a final push up in a wave 5, which is still not finished. And I'm also looking here what I'm going to see on this front. Clearly, this is not impulsive to the downside. So what information this move down is giving us is that especially we continue on the sideways. So for now, this is a very nice a sideways consolidation, which implies higher levels as long as we trade below these lows of the possible orange wave 4. And also RSI kind of confirmed it on these 3 hours. So I will look here for 0.2460, what we are going to do there, and then if we start to continue in Bitcoin and in other cryptos on the upside, I think Stellar will follow up and potentially draw some type of a nice 5 waves on the upside. Also, there is a case here where in an ABC, which is a wave A in triangle, B down in C, D, and E, and then this turns out to be a triangle, but the supports are the same. So basically, a same outlook on the both kind of possibilities for the further upside on Stellar. So let's see what we can go over next. I think I mentioned you last time I want to see a clear 5 wave structure on this Ethereum Bitcoin cross, and I also outlined that this was a possible wave 4, and after that we had a nice move on the upside in this wave 5. So for now our hypothesis worked. It means that we identified a possibility that we are going to continue on the upside as a confirmation of this larger possible continuation. I will go a little bit deeper in the Bitcoin dominance later, but in this cross we clearly have a wave 1 and 2, up in 3, consolidation in 4, and now we are developing a wave 5. I will expect a corrective pullback and then a possible continuation on the upside as per this wave count is suggesting. What we see here, we see a leading diagonal. I made a mistake last month. I was looking this to be more impulsive with this wave count invalidation. Market told me that I was wrong, so I had to remodel this wave count. But looking the Bitcoin dominance and this 5 wave move on the upside, I will still have a tilt on the upside for this Ethereum Bitcoin cross, at least to this equality or a measured move, or even we even might go for this possible 1, 2, up in 3, and then further continuation on the upside. Usually what you do here, you put a nice kind of a channel just to see how this might unfold, and of course we will track for this pullback here in the possible wave 2. Okay, so let's also look some of the not crosses. Let's look some of the other pairs we looked with our members. I don't know if it's anything interesting here. Ripple didn't do much. I'm still looking on the downside. This is my count, which is saying that we are gonna go further lower. Let me just find it. So this is the higher time frame where I expect from this possible X wave 5 wave move lower in A, up in B, down in C to this 0.05 0.04 area. Of course I want to see this to be confirmed, and 5 waves down will definitely confirm that we are in a very probable scenario that we will see lower levels further on the XRP after a small kind of a potentially even sluggish pullback. As you know, the situation with the XRP is not resolved. We are still in a court case, but what is the good thing is that SEC chief was changed. It is a guy from, I think, new administration, and he knows the crypto space much better than the other ones, so maybe they will throw out of the window this lawsuit, and maybe Ripple can regain its previous status. In that case, I will clearly see a 5 wave advance, which is still possible. So in Ripple, all will actually be decided very soon. Here is the wave count invalidation. I don't think we are in some type still of a leading diagonal here, and we have to maintain this possibility that this is a triangle. We move one more up, and this 5 wave sequence will give me an information that the probability will increase. This was actually the orange wave 2. I will expect a little bit pullback, and then of course I will react on that pullback and start to move on the upside. So if you know how to kind of read these wave structures and you know the relations between them, you can extract a lot of information which might help you to construct a kind of a nice outlook and have a very nice risk reward if you displace these events on the chart properly, and if you try to identify always do you have a corrective or impulsive waves, or where are you in the bigger picture. Okay, so here I have this long consolidation move up out of this channel, so I will not easily overthrow the possibility that this was just a 1-2 and we continue on the upside. I'm also not married to any wave counts. I want to find my sweet spot, and in looking of that, I can be either bearish or bullish. In the swing trading, you really don't care. Either you go on one side or the other side as your methodology suggests which side you should take. Okay, so that was a Ripple. We can go over a few interesting stuff as well. I can show you some of the things that I was looking, and very interesting, some of the members gave me these few charts. This is probably you know it, the Puel multiple, and this is a kind of equation which are presented by the periods of time when the value of bitcoins being mined and entering the ecosystem is too great or too little relative to historical norm. So it's concerned with the mining, and as you can see, it kind of works nicely. This is from 2010, and then you go activity on the mining. As you can see, these lows and these highs was rather in many of these instances constructed very nicely, and kind of predicted this zone where the possible lows can be. So I will continue to track that. It was posted by one of our members, and I was kind of looking at it pre-show, and as you can see, if we reach this red zone, that signals a little bit of a warning of a possible reversal in this chart, and this is of course a Bitcoin, and this is the rate of mining. So I think it's kind of tracks it very well. This low was very well announced by this low here, and then we had another one which was diverging with this low here. As you can see, we had a higher lows, sorry, on the price chart, and here we had a lower one. So that's a clear divergence which signaled a possible reversal from this green zone. So I find this interesting. So this is a descent trader, so if you like, you can track it. And also this is a Bitcoin liquidity supply change. It basically tells you, are people willing to sell or buy? So this red moves down are basically telling you that people are not ready to sell Bitcoin, which is very interesting because as you can see on some of the highs, this pressure to sell was increasing and the willingness was increasing, as you can see. And then when we get in this sideways period, and then suddenly you can see that orientation of people was to hold Bitcoin, and it grows more and more. So which means that people are not ready to sell. And I think this is a very telling chart if you just take a couple of minutes to read it and to kind of see what was going on before. Although I will say, and I will repeat that, I think for now the quality of the investors that are moving into a Bitcoin space is much more a high of a value, I mean net worth, than the retailers and a few big whales moving individually during this run up to 2017. So we are seeing some real funds coming in. We are also seeing the infrastructure for the possible vehicles where funds can trade on a more secure basis are expanding. We are also I think we lack a little bit on adoption. Maybe there is a larger adoption, but that's still not much, which actually agrees with some of the threats that people are talking. Maybe Bitcoin is still more of a kind of a store of value or an assets class than a currency. At least for now, it has this type of a quality, and we are going to continue to monitor this because I think it's a nice tool to watch out. So I included something new. We will from time to time skip some of the charts and maybe look these ones in a possible way to kind of have orientation what the buyers and sellers are doing. Okay, so let's look some of the additional cryptos we tend to cover with our members. This is Compound. You know, I was looking this one to has this expanding diagonal, which is probably finished. So we have a 1-2 up in 3, down in 4, and up in 5. So there is a nice 5 waves here. Possible correction in a wave 2. So we're gonna monitor this one. But let's look some of the other pairs. Maybe you have some wish, guys. If you have, type it in, so we can look some of the wave structures. We usually do that with our members. We go over these 20 plus cryptos we cover, and then everybody types in of their alts they're monitoring. So we try to construct some of the valuable insights into wave pattern. Let's look also Bitcoin dominance, which is has an interesting pattern. We are tracking a possible B wave move. Okay, so let's look at it here. Okay, so let's go on a higher time frame and look this Bitcoin dominance chart. For now, it is following our path successfully. We were talking with our members. I didn't present this here, but we talk every time on our members' weekly webinar about this, and we were looking this while it was here on this support for a possible 335 structure, which is depicted as a possible flat, and I think it unfolds nicely for now. So we have a relatively clear 1-2 up in 3, down in 4, up in 5. We have a nice 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and we are expecting 5 waves down, which means that the altcoins will probably gonna be a little bit more in advance over the value of a Bitcoin. We also track this through our relative rotation graph, where we clearly see that already some of the cryptos are even diverging from this leading quadrant. So for some time we have these cryptos are kind of outspacing the Bitcoin on the move, and we are still looking some of them to enter, especially Ripple. If you look where Ripple was, so look at the tail. We were down in a lagging segment while the Ripple was falling, and look, suddenly in the last 7 days or a little bit more, it just jumped to this improving quadrant and continue to go to this leading quadrant, which tells us that these cryptos also might turn here and continue to stay in this leading quadrant. So we will also monitor that. As a correlation grid is concerned, pretty much the same picture. Bitcoin, Ethereum is around 0.85, which is the usual correlation we track for the last year or two. It fluctuates sometimes down to 0.83, but it's basically the same, which means they kind of follow each other. So okay, on that front, we're gonna continue to monitor this. RSI also confirmed the possible reversal. We also see from this blue line a reversal from up there, while we reversed here, and we were expecting the same, which was not very difficult to see as a possibility. We just need to see a 5-wave move down to confirm this reversal, so we can go on a smaller time frame and actually look what is developing here. And definitely we might conclude by the look and the character of the move that potentially we are developing this blue wave 1, because this move down is very sharp. We already passed equality, so potentially this is a wave 1 and 2, and then we are going to continue to the downside to develop this wave 1, and then we're going to see a little bit of a pullback. So on that front, we will also do this Bitcoin dominance chart from time to time, just to see where we are in their mutual relation. Let me see just your dot. Okay, so let's do some of the charts you like to see. Can you just always put a name, because some of these cryptos has the same at least first 3 letters. So as I use different chart packages, just please try to type a name as well, because you type there a dot, so I will guess it's Polkadot, so you just confirm me. Well, this is working well with our wave count. So as you can see, with our this was our wave count before. We left this as a wave 4. I think we analyzed it 2 weeks ago, and look what we got. We got really beautiful extension in this wave 5. I didn't expect such an abrupt move on the upside, so big, but there you go. We successfully identified a possibility that this is a wave 1 down into up in 3, 4 and 5. We pass far over my potential target, and we are trading now on a border of this channel. So still this is looking constructive, but a possibility we might see a very small 3-4 for the combination and termination of this wave 3. It's gonna grow. I don't think this one can continue vertically on the upside. So let's do some fib ratios on this Polkadot. So we also highlighted this potential move on the upside for our members, I think few weeks ago. So we also make mistakes, so don't worry about that. Okay, so this is basically an ideal place for this 1618 projection, but the problem here is that we are in a lesser degree wave 3. We still can do just a small wave 4, wave 5 and stay in this range, but if we don't, we have to englare the possibility that we go to the next level, which might be a 200 and 2618. So this is the next level, 2779, for a possible wave 3, so which means that after this wave 4 we're gonna go a little bit higher before we do correct. And this kind of makes sense more than this one, because we already hit it 1618 and the subdivision behaved nicely. So I think potentially we might get a bit of a sideways price action before we start to move, and then kind of hit this possible wave 3 on the upside, and then we can continue to monitor. Sorry about the sounds if you hear them. It's I try to put down my desktop. It's some of the platforms are getting some emails or something, or a new feed. yeah, so relatively clear. I really don't have much to say here because the subdivisions works very nicely. So after 5 waves up in a wave 1, we move down in a wave 2, some type of an expanding leading diagonal in a lesser degree wave 1, pullback, and then we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, you see here a nice vertical, almost a 90-degree angle on the upside, which is the characteristics, as I said, of the wave 3 of 3. As you can see here, all of this wave 3 is pretty much vertical with a relatively small corrections. But now I think Polkadot might rest a little bit in this wave 4, go a little bit more upside, finish this big larger wave 3, and then have a larger correction in this wave 4 and 5, which will be the first sequence on the upside after we will expect some type of a pullback. So please keep in mind, this is just hypothesis. When I draw something like this, I really don't mean this. I know the basic wave structure, and then when I see the subdivisions, I place a possibility and possible trade. So when I do have my first step, which is a pattern recognition, I try to follow the usual Elliott wave patterns and recognize them and identify points where is the possible best entries for me, and that's how we track all of the fractal nature of the subdivisions. Okay, so this one, I think it's relatively clear. It worked as we were looking for, so kind of a nice update and nice follow-up. Okay, so let's do this ENG. Oh, injective protocol. Yeah, I know it. Yeah. So same stuff. We were looking for a possible wave 5 on the upside, which we reached from this wave 4. Well, here you are faced with several solutions, but I think this one is more proper. So when you have this beginning of a move on the upside, it can subdivide really offensively, depends on the, so this can be wave 1, and then you have another 1, 2, and further move on the upside. I don't think that this will happen, because we have to look a possibility that after some type of a wave 5, we can do a small correction and then continue. So possibly on this one, I will look that the wave 1 and 2 produced wave 3 on the upside. We had a small wave 4, and now we do some type of a unfinished wave 5. So there is a wave 1 and 2 up in 3, 4, and 5, so maybe a little bit more upside. Let's check some fib ratios here to see what are the relations between these subwaves. We reached here 200% or 1618. It's kind of in the middle, which is fine. And then after that, we saw a small correction, which kind of corresponds with this second wave here, which is something which we look usually, and then we continue on the upside. So I will think that looking at these subdivisions, this RSI and wave pattern, I think that after a small push on the upside, we might see a move down to possible support levels. First support will be around 3.44, and then if we get something more abrupt on the second wave, we might even go lower. In the case we do go over some fib ratios that we look for a possible extension on the upside, I will definitely have some levels which I will be looking, and if that is basically override, I might be even more. Okay, we will look at Ethereum. Just okay, so let's look the Ethereum wave count. So let's put an experiment. Let's put a new chart, kind of something that we didn't work on previously. Usually I have so much fun with Todd, and usually he's right. I mean, what, guys, what if we are in something like this? This is a wave one, this is a wave two, and we are starting and we're gonna do something like this, huh? In Ethereum. Wouldn't be that kind of a completely awesome, you know? So, what is this we identify as a five-wave move? So there is a 1, 2, up in 3, 4, and 5. This was just a small pullback in a wave 2, and now we are working some of the higher degree wave 3 on the upside. So I mean, it's possible. Why not? But let's be a little bit more conservative. So let's pair that one with the outlook because of the high degree of correlation with Bitcoin. I'm just exploring the possibility because obviously the Ethereum has, from the functional perspective, much more use than Bitcoin because it serves as a platform with its programming language, so you can build on it a different useful things. So let me just look Ethereum here because it's already kind of paired up with the Bitcoin. So in that case, we are looking for this orange wave 3, the same with the Bitcoin. So we are in this well-defined 1, 2, and looking for a pullback, small move up. So basically it's same as a Bitcoin. I didn't rewrite it, but I just came to a conclusion when I was counting the subwaves. This might be even the same chart with such a high degree of a correlation. We will see if this correlation will last. But for now, it works basically almost the same. So on a smaller time frame, we will look also for some type of a triangulation. Here Ethereum went a little bit more upside, but nothing much. B waves in triangle can be higher. Also this can turn out in a flat, which can finish a little bit lower here and then continue on the upside. So it looks a little bit a kind of a ready for even more larger pullback. I think even the C wave might go a little bit lower. As you can see, it doesn't move down as a Bitcoin is, and therefore one of the most strongest alts. It's gonna move the Bitcoin dominance chart even lower. So the Ethereum is holding well. Also, it can be a shorter triangle and then a continuation, but basically the same outlook. IOTA. Okay, so I didn't look IOTA for I don't know how many years. So let's see what IOTA does. Ooh. I don't know, guys. An ugly chart. Really ugly chart. I mean, you have some type of a five-wave move lower, and then you have something like 1, 2, up in 3, 4, and 5. Maybe a flat, but this one doesn't fluctuate much compared to the others. So let me go on a smaller time frame and let's see what's going on there. Okay, all of this is fine. Well, I will argue that this still looks like a possible flat. I don't have much information, not really a clear subdivisions here, but I will argue that if we put a wave A here, I will argue that the wave B might still continue to the downside. So this might be a 3 waves down in A, 3 waves up in B, and move down in C. I'm not sure in this wave count. So as I told you, I always, even if I talk with my members, I always warn this is just a first glance hypothesis, what I see on the chart. So it's a first step, pattern recognition. So usually I throw a few wave counts and then I select one or two which I like, and then starts to drill down on the smaller time frames and ask, basically ask or wait for a market to show me am I on the right path or not. So for now I will have this one as a possible hypothesis. We know and we have a certain ratio here on the upside, which clearly show us that extensions might be respected, and we might be seeing this corrective pullback. If we go above this extension, we are going to possibly continue on the upside. So this move on the upside is still not enough for me that we are going to continue on the upside for now. So I don't see it yet. I need to see some of the signs. We are still in a corrective channel, trading a little bit above previous highs in a three-wave manner. Nothing spectacular on this one. Okay, NEO US dollar. Yeah, so there is a two wave counts how you can do NEO. Um, but okay, I have it already done, but let me just outline one more possibility here, which I already see. So this can be a first 5 waves up. We're gonna see a pullback and then continuation on the upside. So let's look for these subdivisions here and how they work. I have it a little bit differently on the members webinar with on Thursday. So I had this as an A up in B, down in C, but basically it's the same stuff, because if you plot here a 5-wave move on the upside, which is relatively clean, so we might have a little bit more and then continue to this support level, which also are support levels for a possible flat correction. So for now, I even was very suspicious on NEO, a very cool move on the upside in clearly 5 waves. So as you can see, you can always identify the wave 3. We said for the wave 3s that they are very vertical and impulsive on the upside, as you can see here. And then we have a period of consolidation. Question is this all of a consolidation of this is just the first part, and then we have some type of a larger 335 in a flat, and then we continue further down to this level, complete this correction, and then continue on the upside. So I don't want to be that radical. I will have this as a completed down in A, up in B, down in C, very short C wave, which is possible. NEO didn't have so much liquidity, and it doesn't have it now, to tell you honestly. So in that respect, I will wait for a market to tell me any type of a 3-wave pullback and a small confirmation on the upside will make me relatively bullish on NEO. For now, I'm not interested so much. I just want to observe what it's doing, and I want to see some of the signposts I usually track. So for now, it's fine. We went up. We also had this uh, on our main platform, multi-wave, which we use for as a B wave. So as you can see here, we identified this as a possible 5-wave move. I agree that potentially this wave 2 might correspond with this wave 4, and then we go up in a wave 5. So I will match these two corrections. Usually wave 4s are bigger, but also having the knowledge about the liquidity, this also might be a wave 4. So I want to leave it like this on this wave count. I will have the bullish one as well with me. So I'm gonna wait for the signpost, but in the same case, even if this is 1-2 finished, or 1 flat in 2, or we have some other more bullish 1-2 option, we should correct down to 16, 14, and I want to see the quality and the subdivisions of this correction, and then I will have a much better orientation. So I'm not interested for a swing trade to be involved here. Maybe as an investor I will be interested around these levels, but for now I'm just gonna observe it. Also, we had a very nice wave count on the Neo Bitcoin. That was kind of awesome. It looked very nice. I still don't know if it's gonna unfold. It's very close to do a wave count validation, but it can be a 335. So this was a nice 5 waves up. This is Neo Bitcoin, and then a full reversal in a 5 wave move down, correction, and then here we said it's gonna continue down. And for now, I'm gonna track this more directional one. If it goes up, I'm gonna do a potential flat in this as per Bitcoin dominance chart, and then look for these levels for a possible wave 2 or B, which is going to be a great one. This looks really awesome. If we do something like this, we stop here and then we continue on the upside. Sure. Ferrum. Okay, so let's look at that one and then let's wrap it up. Okay. Whoa. Yeah. Clearly a very well defined thing. Not much of a fuss there. So, I mean, everything is clear here, guys. So, very well defined two corrections without overlap. Clearly defined 5 wave move in a wave 3. Clearly defined 5 wave move in a wave 5. So, this one is for now working very nicely. Very nice subdivisions, clear Elliott wave, almost a school book Elliott wave pattern, which you can discern very nicely. Two corrections, impulsive moves, subdivisions, and a possible target on the upside. So I would look for a 3 wave pullback, usually a previous wave 4, and then a continuation on the upside. So thank you for this chart. I always like to see, although sometimes sometimes it's boring to see a clear pattern. You don't have much of a trouble identifying it, but this can morph into something else. So you have to always be careful of your kind of assurance that you are kind of that you can easily recognize everything. So that's a lie. I mean, rarely the wave count doesn't pose you a problem or a mystery to solve. So, but clearly a nice one for now. So very well defined. What can happen with this one is that it can suddenly morph into even more bullish structure. So this will become a wave 3, and I was like looking, okay, so I'm gonna buy it when it goes down, but what it does, it actually starts to move in this wave 3, in a 1 2 up in 3 4 and 5, and then has a smaller correction, and then off you go. You have to wait much more to be involved in it. But let's be modest. Let's try to monitor this development and then a possible correction to the downside, which will definitely be for me a place where I would like to be involved in this Ferrum. I don't know what it does. I would look on a network. Okay, guys. So if you like to join us at Trading Analysis, we are a full service covering stocks, forex, and cryptos. I will do a little bit of dollar index because I promised um, um, a little bit of macro overview, and then I will continue presenting just for a few moments our services. So clearly I'm still looking lower in dollar. Which kinds of pairs up with the Bitcoin? Wave 1 and 2 down in 3 4, and we are in the last sequence 1 2 down in 3. We are also keeping a necessary time in this fourth wave. As you can see, we are not going for now above this channel. This is not so much impulsive. This can be some type of a flat and we reverse, but I will still to some point look for this wave 4 and the move lower. Something which will make me say, okay, I'm wrong, is that if we start to go and starts nearing some of the levels of 91.50, 92, I will then consider, especially if we break this 93, I will know that I'm wrong expecting this last move. but some of the wave structure, wave pattern recognition, and some fib ratios kind of tells me that we also have a little bit of sideways potentially here and a move to complete this whole dollar cycle from the March, and then we're gonna see some abrupt corrective move on the upside in the three-wave pattern up to these levels. So I always do this like this. I put just an ABC. If we start to break these levels, I will easily transform it in the more impulsive development on the upside. Okay, so our cryptocurrency service or a forex one, the same. You can choose if you like. They're basically the same. We have a chart room where we present a longer term outlook on the cryptos. So the last one updated this January 10th. Oh my god, 11 days. Whoa, I have to update this one. So as you can see, Ripple, we were looking for a move in a consolidation on the upside. Oh, so sorry, Stellar, either a triangle or a little bit lower. We also looked this on Ethereum from this standpoint on a possible wave 4, wave 5, and a consolidation. Bitcoin also, we didn't still had a visibility on this triangle, so we are looking for one more push on the upside. We were looking what of this wave 4 will be. So we do a kind of a larger term outlook on here. It is not so much for kind of a trading purposes. It's more informative on a trend degree and a trend path. We also have videos, member webinars, crypto trade desk. We also have this Discord, which I mentioned, where we exchange all of these things between ourselves with members. We also have a repository, which means that for relatively small bucks you can have my wave counts immediately, or any other wave counts from the team on your multi-wave if you have a multi-wave platform. So as I do some wave count changes on a Bitcoin, you immediately have them on your multi-wave as I did it. So this was something new Trading Analysis did 2 years ago with the multi-wave, which is our preferred charting package, which is awesome, by the way. And yeah, we also have Trading Analysis app, which is on a Play Store. So we are kind of a complete boat, as you can say, like that. So thank you on the attention. I hope you had some of a valuable information from all of these ramblings or my hypothesis view. So hit the like button if you like it. As you know, the evil or bad Google algorithms will recognize and help us to lift this show and make it even more interesting. I'm planning to bring some guests. We're gonna discuss some fundamentals. We're gonna do some macro outlook with some guests. So this is just a warm-up, guys. So get ready. We will fly on this ship with a more fuel behind. So see you next Thursday. Be there. Click the like button and see you next Thursday. Bye bye.